Welcome into Tennessee Hate Week here at Wildcat Cave. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, or you know me at all, you know that I hate Tennessee more than any other team, including Louisville, and the Vols are coming to Lexington Saturday night for what is always a big game for both programs, and this one is no different. Both teams are coming into the game 5-2, and both are coming off gut punch losses. Kentucky, of course, has had a bye week to mentally and physically recover, but that has been more of a liability than an asset for Stoops in the past. He has a record of 5-7 coming off a bye at his time in Kentucky, but he hopes to improve that Saturday. Tennessee has had Kentucky's number for the better part of 40 years. So today we break down what is sure to be a hostile game at Kroger Field. Go ahead right now and drop your predictions and final score in the comment section. The person who guesses closest will win a prize, but let's start with Tennessee. In many ways, these two teams are very similar. They both have a quarterback who came into the season very highly touted, and neither have fully delivered on their hopes and dreams before the season. Both offenses came in excited for what their passing games could be, and both teams had since had to rely heavily on the run game because their passing attacks have been lackluster. The Vols still run the same gimmick offense that they ran last year, except with worse players. However, as you saw last week when they played Alabama, the gimmick offense has the potential to put up points in a hurry if you aren't prepared. The Volunteer offense is led by Joe Milton at quarterback. Vol fans acted like this dude was the second coming of Jesus all offseason. They raved about how he could throw a football 80 yards, which for the record is usually the exact amount that he overthrows his receivers by. And for all of you Tennessee fans who trashed Will Levis last season and support Joe Milton now, every single critique you said about Levis can now be applied about Joe Milton. Except Will Levis got drafted in the second round and Joe Milton won't go in the top 3. But anyway, back to Tennessee's offense. They are extremely gimmicky and they run a fast-paced run and gun style. They're 25th in the country in plays per game at 75. That is the most of any team on Kentucky's schedule this year, and Mizzou and Georgia both showed that if you can get UK's defense on their heels, they are much less effective. Tennessee is much more running back by committee than UK is. Their main ball carrier is Jalen Wright, who's rushed for almost 600 yards, but they have 4 players with over 200 on the season, including Joe Milton. It'll be key for Kentucky to contain the run game and really force Milton to beat you with his arm. Kentucky and Tennessee have extremely similar numbers in the pass game, so if you've been underwhelmed with Kentucky's passing attack this year, that should give you some confidence if the Cats can shut down Tennessee's run game. On defense, it's more of the same story, with the team's numbers being extremely similar. The biggest difference is probably Tennessee's 28 sacks compared to Kentucky's 16 on the season. Overall, Tennessee's a feast or famine type of team. The keys for both Florida and Bama, who beat the Vols, were 2 things. Number 1 is that they were outgaining Tennessee on the ground. In all of their wins, Tennessee has ran for over 200 yards and significantly outgained their opponents on the ground. In their 2 losses, the Vols were held to 130 yards or less rushing. Keeping their running game in check needs to be priority number 1 this week for Brad White. In both of their losses, Milton put up over 270 yards through the air, which proves that if you can stop the run, Milton is not good enough to overcome it with his arm. Number 2 is that they have to hold the Vols to 20 points or less, which has to be done by stopping big plays. The Vols have only won 1 game by scoring less than 30 points. If the Cats can limit big plays, Tennessee has a hard time scoring. If you made it this far in the video, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. But now for Kentucky. Stoops and company are trying to beat Tennessee for only the 4th time in 38 years, and it's coming at a time that has proven to be a weakness of Mark Stoops for some reason, coming off a bye. Like I mentioned at the beginning, Stoops is 5-7 after coming off a bye week, and I don't think that's a coincidence. If you watch those games in the past, it's not just the fact that they lose, but they look unprepared and undisciplined.
Does that sound familiar?
If Kentucky comes out for a 3rd week in a row and lays an egg, Stoops may start to lose the locker room, but will definitely lose the fan base, and the season may start to spiral with no guaranteed wins left on the schedule. After the Mizzou loss, there was a players-only meeting held, which I'm not sure if that's really a good thing or a bad thing. But what I do know is that the biggest problem for Kentucky all season has been the passing game. Stoops said in his press conference this week that working out the kinks in the pass game has been priority number 1 during the bye week, And if they want to have a chance this week, Leary and the receivers have to be on the same page. They don't need to try and match Joe Milton's numbers in this game. It just has to be competent. As for Kentucky's run game, it has to continue to be great like it has been most of the season. Ray Davis is likely the best running back in the SEC and a contender for an All-American in the last poll. Like I said before, outgaining Tennessee on the ground will be key to winning this game. Our offense can't get sucked into trying to have a shootout like we did 2 years ago. We are not equipped or built to beat teams like that, especially teams like Tennessee. The biggest test for this offense will likely be up front with the offensive line. Tennessee is only 1 sack behind first place for most sacks in the SEC. Keeping Leary upright and clean will be top priority for the pass game, but also they need to be able to open running lanes and extend drives. Like I also mentioned before, a big picture problem for Kentucky is how slow their offenses ran. Kentucky runs on average 20 less plays than Tennessee, and they can't afford for the difference to be that big in this game. On defense, if Kentucky's able to contain the run and not allow big plays, then I really like their chances. Clog the lanes and make Joe Milton uncomfortable in the pocket, and all of a sudden, this Tennessee offense will look completely out of place. The key to that, however, is making sure Milton doesn't hurt you with his legs. He's the type of quarterback who will run at the first sign of pressure, and running quarterbacks have really hurt the Cats in the past. So shut down the run, get pressure on Milton without allowing him to break contain, and I think UK has a great chance of winning this one. Overall, I think on paper these teams are about as even as you can be. It will come down to who can establish the run and who can stop the run. With Kentucky having such a pitiful performance the last 2 weeks and a 5-7 record after the bye week and only beating Tennessee 3 times in 37 years, I have a real hard time picking Kentucky to win this game. Kentucky should win this game. I believe they have better players and coaches, plus it's at home at night. But until we can consistently do it, I'm going to have to pick Tennessee to win 30-24. I don't like it. I hope I can make a video next week apologizing to Stoops. But until Kentucky proves that they won't collapse against adversity or can win against Tennessee or after a week off, I have to pick the Vols to win. However, I'll be at Kroger Field doing everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel right now. Leave your predictions for the game down in the comments and smash the like button for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Go Cats.